I've got some things for you to consider by the time we finish here today, so take good notes. I've got a wide range of subjects that I want to cover, and let's get started. First of all, we're engaged here in the process of self-education. Self-education. Accelerated self-education can mean so much to your life if you get serious about the chance and about the opportunity. That's why you got to spend the money, got to spend the time, and got to go wherever ideas are being shared for the accelerated chance for your self-education to be meaningful to your future. Self-education. Here's a key phrase. It's not what happens to us that mostly determines our future. It's what we do with what happens. What happens has been happening for the last 6,000 years. Opportunity mixed with difficulty. The chances have come and gone. The spring has come and disappeared. The summer is here and then it moves on. The harvest is here, and whatever the harvest is, that is soon finished. And the dark night of winter comes, we get through that. Now comes the next spring. The drama of life is continually unfolding. And the circumstances of life are about the same now as they probably were 6,000 years ago. People trying to get along, people trying to blend their talents together, build a country, build a community, raise their families, make life meaningful. That's been happening for the last 6,000 years. But at this moment in life, faced with some of the same challenges, same circumstances, same things, here's the big question: what can we do about it? What can we do with it? And we've got a chance to do something remarkable. We've got a chance better than anybody else to gather up information, send it out there so that people can make wiser choices and make their lives probably more meaningful in the short period of time we've got to be on the spinning planet than any other individuals have had for the last 6,000 years.
Places we would like to go, a lot of things we would like to experience, and we just stop at but, and we build a case. In fact, I was reading something the other day that talked about but. It says but is an argument for our limitations, and when we argue for our limitations, we get to keep it. See, but will cause you to procrastinate, but will cause you to hide out behind fear, but will cause you to come up with all types of excuses that you can validate your inaction and not acting on your dream. And right now, more than ever, people need to look for ways to live their dream. People need to look for ways to make it on their own. There is no such thing as job security. There's no such thing as a storm-proof or tragic-proof life. There are no guarantees today, ladies and gentlemen. The illusion is gone. There was a time when we graduated from high school, you were told, go to college and get out, and you go and work for a corporation for 30 or 40 years, they'll give you a gold watch and you'll retire. Special announcement, that day is gone. That day is gone, never to return again. So instead of people living in fear, feeling stressed out, feeling powerless, feeling like victims, I think it should be a time that we need to begin to look at ways that we can become an active force in our own lives. Look at ways when we can decide to take charge of our own destiny. Look at ways when we can decide to design a life of substance and begin to truly live our dreams. And it's time for people to decide, I'm ready to get on with my life. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left. A guy named Bob May said this, don't let nobody turn you around. Do that right quick.
Life. If there's ever time that we need to begin to stop and think and assess ourselves, that time is now. When you begin to look at the foreclosure rate that's going on in the country, the foreclosures and the bankruptcies, and in addition to that, the violence and people losing their jobs, and the level of uncertainty and fear that people are feeling. And I think there's a level of stress in the air unlike anything we've ever felt before. And so just to take the time to think, to pause, and particularly not only looking at what's going on, but asking yourself the question, how's this affecting me? You know, we want to all become successful, but I've found that there's some success that's toxic success. What I mean is, you don't want to end up going after goals and dreams and neglect yourself. I want you to think about your goals and dreams and things that you want to achieve, and at the top of the list, I want you to put up there your strategy for being here. I just came from the doctor. Let me share something with you. I don't care what goals and dreams that you have. You've got to have your health in order to be here. So at the top of my list, and I'm suggesting you put it at the top of your list, your strategy, your game plan for being here. What are you going to do to take better care of yourself? That's one of the first things I want to ask you about. Because when I look at my life at 64, and I used to think people in their 50s were old, but now that I'm 64, I said, look here, people in their 80s and 90s, they're old people. My goal is to be here not only just to see my grandchildren, but to see my great-grandchildren and my great-great-great-grandchildren. But in order to be here, that's not just lip service, that's a commitment with my time, with my energy, and the choices that I make. So I want you to think about your strategy for being here, and I want you to think about your goal for securing your life in your future. See, as I get older, my goal right now is to become an asset to my children rather than a liability. Financially, then to be viewed. Are you feeling the brother? Up in here, up in here. So I want you to think about your goals and dreams, and here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. And I want you to follow along with this process. As you think about your goals and dreams, I want you to write this down. I'm going to give you some strategies for maintaining this possibility mindset. I want you to write down mindset maintenance. Mindset maintenance. Let me share something with you. The easiest thing that I do every year is to live my dream. That is, helping people to realize their potential, to step into their greatness, challenging themselves, reinventing themselves, to start their own businesses. I've helped over 400 people earn millions of dollars. The easiest thing I do every year is what I do on a day-to-day basis, going into prisons and juvenile detention centers, teaching young people mindset development, how to become effective communicators, how to dress like a prospect rather than a suspect. Those are the easy things that I do. Let me share with you the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life. And that was to believe that I could do it. That's the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my entire life. To believe that I, Les Brown, who was born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida, with a twin brother. We were adopted. We were 6 weeks of age by Mrs. Mamie Brown, and I call myself Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. And all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. I saw a sign once that said, God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. To believe that I, Les Brown, who was labeled educable mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, failed again when I was in the 8th grade, to believe that I had the ability to live the life that I'm now living. No one could have told anybody who knew me, including myself, looking in on us when Mrs. Mamie Brown was raising us in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City in Overtown, that I would be who I am right now. I didn't even know that. And I want you to think about your goals and dreams, and I want you to expand them. Why? Because it has been said that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. No, most people fail in life because they're just like I was for 14 years. They aim too low and hit, and many never aim at all. Not at all. They just go through life surviving. Someone said that many people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65.
Very, very important to you. Foxes, whenever they sense danger or trouble or become weary, they always go running into their holes. That is the safe place. That's the secure place. He's grounded there. Whatever's going to come, I'm going to deal with it because I'm in a place of grounding. You understand what I'm saying? Birds of the air have nests. They say, I know there's a lot of things that want to devour me and want to get me, but if I can make it to this nest, I can get in this place where it is difficult to get me. If my nest is solid, if it's secure, and I had to build this nest. I had to work on this nest. But the child has learned a lot of that behavior from what was modeled in front of them, and you have to get down on the ground level wherever they are, even if it's the juvenile detention center. You got to go where they are and start building that child block by block by block while people are talking about you. While they're criticizing you, while they're saying, where's your God? And I thought you were a Christian. You don't have time to worry about what people think on the outside, because this family thing is too important for me to be yelling back at my neighbors. I'm trying to build something out of these broken pieces that God has given me. Oh, glory to God. Where are my parents at? Build that child. What good is it to build a house if you lose the child? Build the child. The child will outlast the house. Build the child. The child will take care of you when you're old. Build the child. I know they're broken. I know they're crazy. I know they got on your nerves. I know they cuss you out. I know you feel like nothing. Yeah. But when you get through feeling like that, get down on the floor and start building that child. Because you can't have a mess if you can't work with broken branches. Doing your thing. People love you. Faith of any kind always comes by hearing. You didn't believe you were dumb till you heard you were dumb. You didn't believe you couldn't learn till you heard somebody say you couldn't learn. You didn't believe you were unattractive till you heard somebody say. Your unbelief is a result of something you heard about yourself that you believed about yourself. And your life has fulfilled the prophecy you heard about yourself. You're crazy like your daddy. You're just like your mammy. All of these are curses. They may not be cussing, but they're curses that were pronounced over you that said you couldn't do this or that or the other. And the more you heard it and rehearsed it and even argued about it and said you didn't believe it, every time you face a challenge, tell me the truth, don't those voices come back up? Every time you hit a low place, don't those voices come back up again? Every time things go wrong, don't those voices come back? You have never changed your belief. And you will never completely be healed or whole until you change the voice inside of your own head.
And so I want to give you one of those. Some minds are like concrete, thoroughly mixed up and permanently set. Isn't that neat? And then quit griping about your church. If it was perfect, you couldn't belong. But the ones that really give us a start here this morning are kind of a segue into what I'm going to be talking about is this. Don't give God instructions. Just report for duty. Isn't that needy? You know, I had a good friend, a minister, that used to use the expression, said, just show up and take your assignment. And I like that because so many of us are here to tell God how to do things, when the fact of the matter is, let's show up sometime and take the assignment. Yes, we have choice in order to be able to direct our course in life. That's the way we're created. But also, there's a guiding power within us if we just allow it to express in our life. And this is directly in line with an awful lot of what I'm going to be talking about, in line with what I'm going to be I always talk about. And then the other thing that is so powerful to me is the task ahead of us is never as great as the power behind us. Have any of you ever gone to sales meetings to be motivated? And your sales manager or whoever the guest presenter is gets up and gives you all of this stuff and gets you all hyped up and you're ready to go. You go out and you sell great for the first 4 hours on the first day. And then by next week, you have to go back to another motivational meeting. Well, that's really the way that is. And I tell them, no, I says, I cannot motivate anybody. I can only hope to inspire people by something that I may say, might trigger an awareness within them or a new idea that may help to change their perception of things. That's a lot of words to say what I do, but it's really simply to present an idea that may resonate at some level within. And then out of that, there can become that which gets our moving. Motivation simply, there's a lot of definitions. I looked them up. I have a whole sheet full at home, and I decided not to come and bore you with some of the motivations, the definitions of motivation. But I thought about it, and I think that motivation is just what gets us to do what we want to do. And it's that simple.
So we must drive that dark side of our nature into a small corner. But now if you become enlightened in terms of self-interest, it's okay, because greatness at the service of others is legitimate, because everybody wins. He that wishes to be great, let him find a way to serve the many. And there's no better opportunity for all of you than to take hold of this opportunity and reach out and serve the many. I know you're on your way. Just start thinking in larger numbers. That is the key to greatness, figuring out ways to serve the many. Tip. To be ruler over many, you must be faithful with the few. To be ruler over many. Some of you have got visions here now of building a big organization, and well, you should have. With this opportunity, there's no reason why you cannot. Think in terms of 10, and then 50, and then 100, and then 500, and then 1,000. Before too long, there's going to be some of you, your own organization, when you call a meeting, will be this size. I want to have a chance to drop by when just your organization's key people represents a room full of people just like this. That's going to be an awesome experience for you. But here's what I'm asking you to do. Earn it. Earn the privilege of having an organization of key people this big. I'm telling you, people sitting in this room right now, it won't be long until you will have earned the right to have this many key people in your class. And if I get a chance to come and pay you honor, I will be happy to do that. I love to watch people grow. I love to watch them change. I love to watch them pick up the challenge. Some of you I've known, that's what this is all about, the refinement of your time, the refinement of your activity. But here's the key. Bring your seed to the marketplace. Not your need. Hide your need and show your seed. Bring your skills. The marketplace will respond. The need is already there. We don't have to worry about the need. Somebody once gave this secret to success. Let me give it to you. It's in a few simple parts. Here it is. Number one, if you want to be successful, find a great human need. Find a great human need. Now, we could go through a long list of human needs, right? Humans need liberty. Humans need food. Humans need shelter. Humans need information. Humans need a support system, especially in those early years. Humans need friendship, camaraderie. Here's a major one. Humans need enterprise. We were meant for enterprise. Old Testament says what? 6 days labor, 1 day rest. That is a clear indication. Humans were meant for enterprise. We were meant to make something of what we've been presented with. Seed, soil, sunshine, rain, miracle of life. We were meant to see what we could do with opportunity. See what we could do with an economy. See what we could do with chances. That's what life is all about, enterprise. So if you wish to be successful, find a great human need. Humans need dignity.
How do we motivate ourselves positively? We know the negative motivations. We've seen those things. They're usually involved in avoidance and fear and that kind of stuff. But how do we motivate ourselves positively? Well, I think positive self-motivation begins with a transformation of our attitude, or a change of our attitude. And our attitude is a combination of various elements. It's what we think, what we feel, what we do, how we behave, how these all come together to give us an attitude that allows us to be clearly focused on something important in our life, and then to apply that. But in being motivated to do something, we need to be convinced, I think, that the benefits that are going to come as a result of what it is we want to experience far outweigh the price that we're going to pay for it. I started studying about it, and I wanted to learn more and more. And in my studies, it's interesting, I came to the conclusion that the addict, the alcoholic, the overeater, there are all kinds of different kinds of addictions. Vacuum cleaning addiction, washing your hands too much addiction. All of these things, I kind of began to get the idea that whoever has this kind of compulsion, whatever one it happens to be, they really must feel that the addiction is worth whatever the price is that they're paying. And he had a definition that I like very much. Let me see if I can remember it. He says, addiction is the obsessive compulsive attachment to something without which we don't feel we can survive.
Smart as your brother? Have you ever thought about something you wanted to do and you convinced yourself that you couldn't do it? See, sometimes we need to have some external voices. And so by listening to motivational messages, that began to override the negative thoughts that I had about myself in my mind. And it gave me a new story and empowered me and gave me a vision of myself beyond my circumstances and mental conditioning and started me to writing a new chapter in my life. And so now, money will never be another issue for me. And that was an issue for most of my life because I didn't know what I didn't know and I thought I knew. So one you have to do is that you have to have a mindset development strategy where you are deliberately taking an hour every day listening to a motivational message. Every day. Here's something else. Read 10 to 15 pages of something positive every day. Why? And read it with conviction and stay focused. 10 to 15 pages every day. This is 7 days a week? Absolutely. Absolutely. Every day. McDonald's know that you know where they are. Burger King know that you know where they are. But every day they have some advertising. They have billboards. They have radio. They have television. Why? Because by exposing you to those messages, that will begin to impact your behavior. And it will drive you into the place to purchase what they're advertising. Now you're advertising for your greatness. And faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing. So you want to listen to positive messages every day. You do this, I'm telling you, your life will never be the same again. And read 10 to 15 pages of something positive every day. I read 2 to 3 books a week. Why? Because I have goals and dreams of things I want to achieve. I want my life to count. I want to make a greater impact. At this stage of my life, I'm working on my children's education. A good man leaves a legacy for his children's children. So I'm working on their education at this point in my life. And as I begin to look at myself, in order to achieve more, to do more, I know I have to work more on my mind. And let me give you an example of how this works. The most money I've ever earned in an hour and a half, $260,000. That's the most money I've ever earned in an hour and a half. A lot of people work a whole month and don't do that, or 6 months. Then, and this is the next thing I want you to do. I want you to look at your relationships, and I want you to upgrade your relationships. See, MIT did a study. This study indicated that you earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. Not only did I start reading books every day and listening to positive messages, but I separated myself from my friends who did not have goals and who did not have dreams. Why? Because people rub off on you. It's called a mind virus. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. So when you upgrade your relationships, you got to ask yourself the question, who is it that I need to associate with, that I can learn from, that I can grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially? By aligning myself with another person that I can learn from. And Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group.
In how I'm going to pursue the development of my talents and skills in order to be able to optimize my experience of life. And that's what I mean when I say within the capabilities of, within the bounds of my own capabilities. Now, I'm allowed to make mistakes in my life. You know, I can scream and I can cuss and I can steal and I can cheat. Or on the other hand, I can help, I can support, I can be there to help uplift people and encourage them. And I can change my mind in any of this. That's the choice. I can change my mind and do something else. And this is the divine gift of choice. It's always mine. It's always yours. And you know something? It'll not always be right.
See, no one knows you like you. You know what it is that you need to work on. I mean, one of my main issues that I had to dramatically change about myself was I had to develop courage. I used to go see people do things. I saw speakers on stage. My heart would say, I can do that. But I didn't have the courage to stand up for myself. For 14 years, I procrastinated. For 14 years, I kept myself as a spectator sitting on the sidelines. And then I saw a speaker, and he was so boring, the room was as quiet as a graveyard between funerals. And I said, whoa, if he can do it, I know I can do it. And because I saw what he did, and his brother-in-law was sitting next to me, and he said, you ought to be that boring and earn the kind of money he earned. I said, how much did they pay him? He said, $5,000. I said, $5,000? He's only been talking for about 45 minutes or an hour. He says, that's how much they make. Now, I wasn't earning $5,000 a month. I said, wait a minute. If he can do that, I know I can do that. Have you ever done that before? He gave me courage. And so at that moment, now that was a decision. I didn't have to have his example of somebody that was less talented than I was to give me the courage. I should have had the courage to stand up myself, to believe in my own stuff. But the truth of the matter is, I didn't. And I can't unscramble those eggs. I cannot pull those years back. I cannot recapture those 14 years. Maybe, that's why my favorite book says, forgetting those things which are behind, reaching forth unto those things which are before.
Number one, secret to success is find a great human need. Number two is to find the answer. And here's number three, to take the answer in quality and quantity of service to the marketplace. To take the answer in quality, and that's up front here, quality service. That's got to be up front with you, quality service. A good idea in the hands of a careless person does not serve the country well. A good idea in the hands of someone who lets it slip, lets it drift, tarnishes it with immorality, I'm telling you, does not serve the country well. But a good idea in careful hands, a good idea interested in quality service, and then the next word was what? Quantity. Really pouring it on. See how many numbers you can put together. See how many people you can reach. Start thinking in terms of, instead of 5, think of 50. Instead of 50, think of 500. Instead of 500, think of 5,000. And soon you'll be able to think of 50,000. You'll be able to think of 5 million. I'm asking you to do that. Find a great human need. Find the answer to the need. Take the answer in quality and quantity of service. And then here's the last part. To as many as you can reach in a lifetime. Why not make a good idea a lifetime quest? As many as you can reach in a lifetime. Now maybe it's a lifetime that you want to participate in, but at least an extended vision on out there that calls forth the best in you of training, laboring, developing, finding out what's possible and what you could possibly do with it. Find a great human need, find the answer, take the answer in quality and quantity of service to as many people as you can reach in a lifetime. That we call bringing value to the marketplace. And then if you do that, here's what happens. You deserve the reward. You deserve the fortune. You deserve the return.